from our reflection.
Welcome to Perfect Imperfections with Kalia Bell. I am your host, Kalia Bell, and here we share the tips, the tools, and the mindset that we are using to remove all roadblocks that are prohibiting us from walking in our purpose and living the abundant life that God has designed for us. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being on this journey with me. You are in store for another great episode. By now you know that I love my MMU family. By now you know that my MMU family is full of innovators, creators, and thinkers and multimillionaires. And I am joined by yet another MMU family member who is here to share her story. And I can't wait to get into this conversation because she doesn't know something that I know that I can't wait to tell her. So, welcome, Krissi Judd, to Perfect Imperfections with Kalia Bell. Thank you for being here, Krissi.
Thank you for having me, Kalia. I'm
I'm
so honored and privileged to be here today. So thank you so much for inviting me.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule for being here. Now, usually I tell the people why they're here before their introduction, but I want you to give an introduction of what you do and who you are, and then I'll tell you why I asked you to come. So
Okay.
tell my people and my family members who is Krissi Judd.
Yes. Well, hi, people and family members. I am Krissi Judd. Like Kalia said, I have many hats. The CEO of Black owned businesses, which we're going to explore and get into today. I have a nonprofit organization serving homeless veterans and homeless individuals in the city of Philadelphia, where we have two transitional housing programs that I run there. Um, I'm a mother, a wife, uh and my goal is to empower our people, and by our people I mean Black, indigenous, people of color, people who have been discriminated against and disproportionately um dis you know service in America. So that is my goal, and I believe that is my purpose in life, that God has me on a mission to do. And so I just get so excited when I get to come on people's podcasts and talk about Fine Bobs, Fine Black owned businesses, BOB, because this app is going to be, it is the catalyst for Black wealth. We are using this app to support, search, and educate our people on, number one, what is out there, right? All these, like you said, these brilliant minds, these Black businesses, but no one can find
Yeah.
them. No one knows about them. We can't use other platforms because of algorithms and things like that. So I decided to create something that we could use for us, that's going to promote and market the businesses that our people have and that they've come up with. And a lot of times, going back into history, we come up with things and we wasn't given the credit for it. That happened very frequently during slavery, and people don't know that the stoplight was invented by a Black man, or the peanut, or all the other inventions that we came up with, but it took a while for us to get the credit for
Yes.
it. So because of all these things in history that we've had to overcome, I'm living out our ancestors' dreams through
That's
the
right.
Fine Bob's app.
That's right. That's right. Now, my sis did not mention that she also has a podcast that we will be discussing also. So she does have a podcast. So in addition to her many titles, she is a podcaster as well. Tell us the name of your podcast.
Yes, the name of my podcast is called Anointed Purity Podcast, and it's such an innate thing to me. I often overlook it. Like, it's a podcast where we talk about the Bible. We talk about the truth of God's word, and a lot of times, the truth is not always pretty. It's not
Right.
always glitter and gold, but we get that truth out there about everything the Bible says and how God is expecting us to live our lives. One of our most controversial episodes was sex is marriage. We dropped
Yes.
that one 2 weeks ago. God says sex is marriage in Exodus 22. So it's a lot of things that is not talked about. It's very taboo, because we
Yes.
don't want to offend this person. But it's not me. It's not my word. It's not Chrissy's
The
word. It's
Bible.
God's word. So if you want to
Amen.
be offended by God, not by the messenger. But that's not the society we live in. But in our podcast, we go in. We
Yes.
talk about what the Bible says, the truth about the Bible, and we invite the conversation to different perspectives.
I love it. I love it. To be young and be a soldier of the Lord is a wonderful thing. So I love that. And we'll
Thank
definitely touch
you.
on that. But I definitely had to let her know, don't forget that you also do a podcast.
Yes, yes, I know.
So I wanted you on here because funny enough, one thing that we learn in our community is that you have these ideas, but you do not execute on it, and someone else will. So years ago, I was at my 9 to 5 with my coworkers, and we were complaining about the 9 to 5 and what can we do to get out of here. And we talked about creating a Black Yelp.
What?
And yes, and now to find that you have Find BOB, I think it is so not think I know that we need this. Like I know that we need this so much so like I was saying I want to do this. So I am going to support you in any kind of way. I'm letting you know now on my platform anything that I can do to help support move your business forward by you being here, spreading the word and utilizing it. I'm here for that because
Thank you.
we need the Find BOB. So you kind of touched on
Wonderful.
it a little bit, but kind of go deeper into what exactly is Find BOB and how did you come up with the
Yes.
idea?
Yes. So I came up with the idea out of necessity, right? I'm like, I want to support more Black businesses. I travel a lot. When I'm traveling, I want to be able to support Black businesses. But if I don't know who they are, where they are, it's kind of difficult to find them. So I was like, I want to create something that one makes it easy for people to just find. So we've created like the geolocation systems in the app, whereas you turn on your location services wherever you're traveling to. You go to the app. I want a Black loctician. Let me look at the
Right,
reviews. Oh, I want to go to a Black restaurant. Let me look at the reviews. It's an easier way. Just everything that we carry every day, our phones, right,
that's
right
right.
here at the click of a button. It's right there, and we want to make it easier and more accessible for one, Black businesses to get supported, and for two, that $1 trillion that Black people spend every year in economy, we want to bring a lot of that money back. Now, we
Right,
know that that's just the tip of the iceberg when we're talking about closing that generational wealth gap, right? That's just a little bit of it because we have to invest. That's going to be where most of our wealth comes from. But by redirecting those Black dollars to back to us, our communities, our businesses, we can now help more people, more Black businesses. We
absolutely,
can now better our communities. I know Nehemiah Davis
absolutely.
just came back to Philly and did a new court, basketball court, and they named the street after him. I was there, to witness that. That's history in the making, but this is what happens when we support each other and bring some of that $1 trillion back to our own businesses and communities. So it started there. And what you can do in the app, man, we're just implementing any and everything we can think of. Our most recent implementation is like a bartering system. So
Mm,
somebody got a restaurant and you need, somebody else is a mechanic. Like y'all can, okay, you can give some
mm-hmm,
free meals, you fix my car or you do my oil change.
mm-hmm.
But these are things that we're just being creative and innovative on how we can get people in the app, upload their businesses, and start using the app to search and support each other.
First of all, I love the bartering system because if we look back in the history, that's actually how a lot of our ancestors and the people that paved the way for us, that's how they paid things through the
Exactly.
bartering system. So you will have people make meals for something done in their house or, vice
Yep.
versa, or keep children or take care of moms or elderly to assist in whatever needs to be done. You work on the house while I do this. So I
Yep.
think that I mean that goes to show that you are looking in so many ways on how this can help our community more than just search and go. You're looking at how can we build our community.
Yes.
So my question to you, in a society where, what do you say to the people that are, why do we have to keep everything separate? Why do we have to separate everything? Why, if we're trying to unite the world and make it a United States, why do we have to have a Black owned app?
Ooh, Kalia, that's a loaded question, baby.
Hey, I
Okay, so
listen.
here we go with the word, right? God doesn't unite everyone. I'm sorry, not sorry. Like in the Bible, he talks about his people. He's very, very possessive, my people. He doesn't say all people. So clearly, everyone is not going to make it right into the kingdom. The Bible says the road to destruction is wide, the road to salvation is narrow. So it's not for everybody because everybody is not invited. And that's not, being cocky or anything like that. I'm just everything that we do in my business is built off of the Bible. And so when I'm thinking about the people that's been marginalized, when I'm thinking about the people that went through 400 years of slavery, when I'm thinking about our ancestors and how we were treated, it's in me, it's in my bloodline, it's running through my soul to continue the plight of the Black Americans. And it's the Americans and the Hispanics, we are the people that suffered a great deal at the hands of our oppressors and our colonizers. And so in my businesses, even with my homeless shelters, and these are facts, like I'm not making this stuff up. You could look it up in America in general, but in Philadelphia, the greater population of homeless people are Black.
Yeah.
Are Black. It's about 90% Black. And even in my shelters, it's about, I would say about 97% Black.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm seeing these things real life, real time happening right now. And I know that God has me on a path, on a mission because of the atrocities that we've gone through. And somebody has to be,
The voice.
carry the torch, right?
Right.
And so God chose me, and I humbly and graciously accept that assignment. And whew, it's a heavy load to carry. It's a heavy load to carry because I had people come into the on the ad, white people, and they're saying if we had a white this and if we had a white that, people will be outraged. I've had people attack me, and
Yeah.
and they didn't ask it as eloquently as you just did. Well, why do we have to be separated? They were like, oh, y'all think y'all better if it was a white
Yeah.
on this and a white on that. And I'm just like, do you hear yourself?
Right.
The only reason why we have to have a Black owned is because they made it about being Black versus being
Right.
white. So we're just products, of our environment. And that's why I know that this is something that God has me doing in this lifetime.
And I appreciate that. And I wanted to ask that to get that out the way, because we have this platform is to my community, specifically, like you said, the Black and Brown people, Black and Brown community. However, it's open to whoever wants to listen
Right.
because, we have stories to tell. But I
Mhm.
think it's important because my son and I, we're writing a book. And at the time that we were writing the book, he's only 10. So that's the age where as Black boys, you start having the tough conversations of, you are Black and those kind of conversations,
Mhm. Mhm.
and we live in a predominantly white county now. We're from Harlem, New York City. So it was
New
that's right,
York. I'm
New
from
York. And
Brooklyn.
okay, New York, New York.
But
So,
go ahead. Go ahead.
but it's a different, it's a
Yes.
difference.
Huge.
So you go from everyone kind of looking like us to now, kind of being really known as a minority.
Mhm.
And when we sat down to write the book, he wanted it to be kind of, but towards everyone. So I
Yeah.
had to explained to him the importance of telling our stories. And
Mm,
I also had to, and by doing that, because he was just like, what if a white person doesn't want to read the book because it's Black people? And we actually looked up the statistics. So it's about 10% of children books that are with Black characters.
mm-hmm.
And there are more children books that are based on animals than there are on Black characters. It's
Mm,
even less Black authors, like
mm,
7% of Black authors for children
yeah.
books. And when, teaching him the numbers, I'm like, if you have a pie, you can only get 7% of the pie where everybody else get that. He was even like, what? So,
Wow. Yeah.
right. So we circled back and I said, this is going to be a book for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to also the importance of telling the story in a certain kind of way. Because that's also, we have those things where it has to be a certain kind of story. Like we feel a
Mm-hmm.
sense of responsibility to our people that we have to make sure that we're telling the truth because
Absolutely.
our truths are always
It's not, it's
covered
his
by
story. It's his
right,
story, history. Yes, not
right,
our
right,
story.
right. So having to make sure that we're telling our truth of families and how a Black family is and with kids and things like that. So I'm excited about that, but I wanted to kind
I
of
love
get that.
that.
I wanted to kind of get that out the way, for our listeners. And now we're gonna have a conversation for us.
Yes, yes. Yes, Kalia.
So
Listen, let me tell you, I'm from Brooklyn, okay?
that's right.
Projects, Kingsborough Projects, born and raised till about the fourth grade. Then I moved to Georgia. But I know exactly what it feels, to live in poverty,
Right.
roaches. I was talking to the morning meetup book live book read the other day. Like I know what that feels like. So to just and I know that God had to have me go through that
Right.
so that I can relate to more of our people, the people that's still in the projects, the people that still, on food stamps. I was on food stamps as well. So I had to come through that, parents back in the 80s, my mom, I was raised by a single father because my mom was on crack. So she dipped out and left my dad. Thank God for good
Amen.
fathers. Thank God
That's
for good
right.
fathers because I was raised by a single father. So just going through all that, having that a part of my story is going to make me more relatable when
Yes.
I'm out here and I'm talking to these Black businesses like, listen, I went to college, but I didn't come from that. I
Right.
started really from a struggling background and God has brought me out to his glory, to his glory.
I love it. And that I love that you are able. I always say, I believe I said it to Nayetta, that our story as Black and Brown people it goes back to once we came to America with struggle. But
Yeah.
we're so resilient. We're so strong. We're so, we push through. And unfortunately, the chains, the slavery aspect ended. But however, we have poverty as a slave, we have drugs as a slave, we have so many other different
Yeah.
forms of
Prison.
slavery, that prison as a slave, that we are still having to live through. So when people like you and Nayetta has a story as well, when people tell these stories, it's definitely a story of redemption, strength, and so many different things. Because it's like, if I look at you, I would have never known your story. I would have never
Yeah.
known, what you've gone through. So you're saying, let me take what I have and make it so that others don't have to go through it. Or if someone else is going through it, they can see what you can be. And it's just,
Yes.
and it's just, you're just a product, like you said, you are our ancestors' dreams. Because I'm sure the people that fought and literally died and risked their life for us to be and have this moment right now, they
Yes.
had to overcome through things and had to push through things and still find joy and happiness. And you're doing that. So
Yes.
it's
Thank
different,
you. Thank you,
but
Kalia.
it definitely is. I can see that the strength of our ancestors are definitely also, and that's why I say never bet against the culture, because
You
we
know,
we
I
we
love
never
that. Never, because you're not
never
going to win, baby.
listen, you're not gonna win. You are not gonna win because we don't lay down. We get right back up and we're gonna fix it
Yes,
and make it even better. So I want to kind of get back into I want to get back into find black owned businesses
yes,
because it really, really I don't think when I moved to Maryland, your site and your app was exactly what I would have wanted or and needed at the time. I was looking for black doctors. I was
mm,
looking for black everything. I wanted a black nail
yes,
stylist. I wanted a black, just anything. And not being able to go even to find a black doctor, it was difficult.
yeah,
Like it's difficult. It's not easy to find. So
right.
tell us more about just your app and how maneuvering it and just like the ease of why we need to be on Find BOB because it's a
Yes,
website. Not only do you have an app, but you have a website as well.
absolutely. Yeah. So it's a full development, like business consultant company, anything from beginning to end. So not only is it like a search directory where businesses can list, their listings for free. However, we also offer consultants. So if you need a logo, if you need a landing page, if you need business
Wow.
consulting, life coaching, we have a team already in place that's prepared to deliver these service. We have we just brought on a AI tech guru,
Wow.
and my partner, he has a tech company called Questone, and he's the one that built our app. Like we started this in 2018, and it's
Mhm.
now, girl, we've been hacked, we've been
Wow.
boycotted, protested. People been spamming
Wow.
our pages. So that's how you know. That's how you know. It's like when the enemy
Absolutely.
is attacking what
You
God
know,
is saying, you just got to keep going. Okay, God, I trust you. Because weapons will form.
they will form.
They will form, but they ain't
Oh,
gonna
they will.
prosper.
They DMX. I love that DMX had a interview in the Breakfast Club one time, and he said the weapons will come. They will
Yeah,
come at you, but God said they will not prosper because
right.
they will be formed,
Yes,
but they
they
will not
coming.
prosper. Yes, and now be walking, and I definitely want to get into your faith. It's a few I want to get into the faith walk, but listen, when it comes to
Yeah,
God, I love talking about him. But
I know, right?
as you grow in your spiritual walk, it definitely feels better when you know that those storms come and you're like, Lord, I know you have something for me because
Yep.
you put this. And I'm like I said to you, I'm speaking from someone who wanted to do this. So I
Yes.
am looking at the person that created my dream, and I am telling you that I know for a fact what you have and what you guys are building is what we need. I went to
Hmm.
Atlanta and out in Atlanta, I was trying to find restaurants and things. And of course, Atlanta is definitely more
Hmm.
diverse with it's
Black
more of us
Hollywood.
exactly to be easier. But even um having an app like that where you can now look at the ratings and you can, be honest. Because here's the thing as black owners and black, just because you're black, I do want good service.
Yes.
I will come to you, but I want good service. So
Yeah, and
having a play, God, no, God, yes,
no, Kalia, why you said that,
yeah,
because
I do.
of the negative stigmatism, the negative connotation that is high prices and poor service. And it's funny that you said that because my husband and I, we have like this little bet going on. Every time we support a black business, I'm rooting that we're going to get the best service possible, right? We're going
Right.
to get smiles, we're going to get friendly service. He always say, nope, it's gonna be ghetto, and they not gonna smile. They're gonna hand us our food, and you know what? Most of the time I gotta pay him
Yeah.
because he be
Yeah.
right, and
Yes.
that's why one of the reasons why we created BOB is to change that. We want to consult you. We want to tell you smile when you pick up the phone. They can hear
Yes.
that. Even
Yes.
if you don't feel like it, force it through.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
just say hi, how are you? It's just little small techniques that you can implement in your business that can not only, in customer service is equal your net revenue. Okay. If you have bad customer service and you wondering why your business is not growing, it's the little things that we can
That's
help you
right.
implement in your business. So that's why we recommend every business that comes on to have a consultation with us so we can sit down and dissect your business, what it is you're doing. Hey, here's a list of customer service techniques that you can act on today. And we give this stuff away for free on our website too. But these are just things that will immediately bring you more customers, and you don't even realize it because you're not smiling. You're not saying how are you?
Right.
You
Right.
know. So yeah,
No,
it's
that's
very
big.
important that you said that.
And I love, and the fact that you guys are being intentional and even thinking of that, because you're not just saying, "Hey, here's a place where you can find Black businesses." You're saying here, "Hey, here's a place where not only you can find Black businesses, but hey, Black businesses, I'm here also to help you." So I
Yes.
love the intentionality that you guys are putting in Find BOB. That's why, so I would tell you, like, that's a cute idea, but it's for somebody else because you're taking it and you are growing it and doing all different kind of, again, the intention that you're putting behind it. You're saying that this is going to be like a hub for
Mm-hmm.
Black businesses
Mm-hmm.
and Black consumers, bigger than just finding us, but building, like you said, generational wealth and investing
Mm-hmm.
and making partnerships in the bartering program. I think genius. So,
Thanks.
but
Yeah.
yes, customer service is huge in our community, and that's something I've been in customer service for the majority of my W-2
Same.
career. So I like the back of my close my eyes, I can do customer service easy,
Yeah.
So I do understand the importance of it, and it is something that I definitely do want to help my fellow brothers and sisters in business with that, because a lot of the businesses are failing more so for their customer service than anything else. And I think that sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we can be so happy with our product and what we have and believe in that, and we forget that human connection is very
Mm-hmm.
important, with that.
Yes.
So I,
Absolutely. We have to
that's
take the Chick-fil-A model. You know
I
how
always
they
use Chick-fil-A.
always use that, right?
I always
Because
use
they just got
Chick-fil-A.
it. Even though, they food may have GMOs, they using
Who knows?
antibiotics in their chicken, but guess what? That customer service keeps you
Top
coming back.
top notch, top tier. Never a bad day. Okay. And now they're
Pepper.
outside. Now they're outside and they come to the car. And I'm like, okay, it's not
Yes, they got the little notepad.
right.
They constantly stepping up their
Yes,
customer
yes.
service, and that makes a world of difference.
It does. It does. Now, I do want to touch on your veteran service because
Yeah.
actually I have to connect you with my brother-in-law. He actually just won a Presidential Medal of Honor, but
What?
yes, he did. Yes.
Thank you
He
for his
has
sacrifice.
oh yes, he well, he won a Medal of Honor for his nonprofit from
Wow.
yeah, from the president.
Oh,
And
that's so amazing. Please connect
yeah.
us.
Yes, absolutely. So he has a nonprofit. The name of his nonprofit is called the Dunn Foundation. And he gives back to his community in so many different ways. So we do turkey drives, we do back to school drives and different and all types of things. But he is also a veteran. So he does a lot of veteran work. He's
Mm,
actually going out to California in June.
mm.
He's doing a Father's Day luncheon for some veterans, part of the US, is it US veteran? The organization, the big organization for US vets.
USAA? Oh, US vets? I'm not sure.
Yes, US vets. I think that's what it
Okay.
is. So I definitely want to connect you guys with that because he is big in that sector with the give back. He
Yes.
does something in DC, so I would love to connect you guys with that. So how did you
I
get
would love to.
into working with the homeless vets?
So so when we moved to Georgia from Brooklyn, we went to live with one of my dad's friends who just so happened to be a retired Navy veteran. I was in fourth grade. I knew nothing about this, right? Fast forward to after I graduated college, I didn't have a job. right? For 3 months, I'm looking, I'm applying, nobody's hiring me. So I have gone to an appointment with him, my godfather, at the VA. And I was like, I'm jobless. Let me try to apply here. So I
Mm-hmm.
did. I applied, and that was in 2007, and I got in. And so I worked at the Department of Veterans Affairs from 2007 until I resigned for full-time entrepreneurship in 2021. So I was
Wow.
there for all those years. And while I was there, I just know, I'm inside the culture now.
Yeah.
So I can see this veteran culture. I can see, the gaps and disparities in healthcare. I can see it. So I'm like, me, with my ancestors' blood running through me, I'm like, this isn't fair. I got to do something. Something has to change. So I go to the VA and I'm like, hey, because you never come with a problem and don't have a solution, right? So
Right.
I presented the problem and I had some solutions. Girl, I felt like Jay-Z. They like beat the kid, like like not right now. So I was like, all right, well, that didn't work. So God put this idea. He was like, start a nonprofit. This was in 2014. I started the nonprofit, and then fear kicked in, imposter syndrome kicked in. I'm like,
Absolutely.
what am I doing? I got this good government job. Like, I ain't going
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. I sat on it till 2018. God nudged me again, get
Mm-hmm.
going with that nonprofit. So I started making calls. I'm like, all right, God. I started making calls and I found this building. My husband and I, we were driving and I'm like, this will be a good building. Well, I looked up the building. It was already sold. I found out the company it was sold to. I called them. Girl, look at God. When I called them, I was on the phone with a 20-year Army veteran. Okay. And I
Mm.
started telling him about my ideas. Hey, I work for the VA, blah, blah, blah. He was like, I want you to meet the CEO. Come in for an appointment,
Wow.
a meeting. Girl, preparation, right? So I got my PowerPoint presentation together and I laid it out for them. I said, these are the problems within the VA healthcare system. These are the problems within the VA benefit system. Here's my solutions. Girl, they loved it. We partnered.
Wow.
That was in 2018. We housed our first veteran in 2019, and we've been going strong ever.
Wow. Look at God. Look
Yeah,
at
God.
God. Congratulations. That's a
Thank
beautiful
you.
story.
Thank
That is a
you. Thank
beautiful
you.
story. Oh, look at God. That's
Look
wonderful.
at
And
him.
I'm
Won't
so,
he do it?
won't he do it? Won't he do it? And
All
it's
you
such
got
a
to
blessing.
do is listen to his direction. When he
Yes,
told me in 2014, fear struck, and I'm like,
absolutely.
God, no, no, you don't know what you talk about, God. I got this
Absolutely.
good government job you gave me, right?
Absolutely.
But he had bigger plans for my life. I'm thinking this good government job, this is it, this is my life. No, God said no,
That's
no,
it?
the
That's
plans
all you
I
want?
have for you,
That's all you want? You
I
want that? That's it? Okay. Go ahead. Have fun with that little
know,
bit of
right?
stuff.
Until it started stressing me out, then I was like,
Right.
okay, God.
I was just about to say until God puts you in, but God is like, you want to be in that small space, and then you start feeling tight and conformed and miserable, and then
Yep.
you realize, okay,
Claustrophobic.
yes, now you like, I gotta get out and I have to grow. So my dad is a veteran and he is Purple Heart. So I grew up and he fought in Vietnam War.
Oh
So I have
my
such a soft spot for veterans,
Wait,
and
is he service connected? Your
what is that?
father?
Is it
Oh,
100%?
shucks, we gotta talk, baby.
Oh
Is
yeah,
he
we gotta
getting
talk.
money? Is
He
he
is
getting
getting
money from
money.
the V?
He's
Okay,
getting
okay,
money.
he's
He's
service
getting
connected.
money.
All
Yeah, he's
right.
getting money. He's getting money. Oh, so I guess that's the question that he asks because anytime that he meets another vet, he asks them some question, and he's just like, "I want to make sure that you get your money," that type of thing. So I guess that's the question that he's
Yep,
my
yep,
dad is
that's
getting
it. Are you service connected, baby?
he's getting his money, and
Awesome.
I know firsthand, seeing that and knowing the stories that
Hmm.
our vets are really, honestly, I know for a fact. The average American does not understand how the United States government does not support our vets when they come back home.
Don't.
I know that it is very, like, you're watching this, you're probably naive to the fact that you think that our vets go overseas and risk their lives and they're away from their family for years and months on end and missing all types of things, that when
Hmm.
they come back into the United States to live their normal life, that they are set for life. And let me tell
Oh,
you, it is a hard no. It is
no.
an absolutely hard no. So
Yeah.
you having what you have, and you any again, that's another thing. Whatever we can do, the Bell brand can come out and support you. If you have giveaways or anything that you need some volunteers, let us know. We will definitely come down to Philly and support and hand out and be there a
Thank
face.
you. Yes.
Yes, because we love my dad, and all of
Hmm.
his best friends. Like he's the only child, so my uncles are all vets, and
Yeah.
really knowing, hearing the stories of what they had to endure and go through. And as you stated, like my dad had a surgery, um, 2021,
Hmm.
2019, and then COVID messed up, and then we had to go back in 2021. In
Okay.
the hospital, in the VA hospital, I was like, I don't want you here.
I know. So
I
many
don't want.
veterans feel that way too. They don't trust it.
I learned the VA hospital is a teaching hospital.
Yes, it
So,
is.
you have that, which, listen, teaching hospitals is fine, but I do feel that as vets, we definitely need to give them a little more love and
Yes,
support.
absolutely. Girl, that's the name of my organization, Love, Pray, Peace Project.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
Love, Pray, and we call it LP3 for short, but Love, Pray, Peace Project,
I
because
love it.
we need to love on them, we need to pray for them, and we need to bring them peace. We need to meet
Yes.
them with peace, especially those wartime veterans,
Yes.
right? The Vietnam veterans were treated the worst, so
Yes.
poorly. They have the
Especially the
highest.
Black Vietnam.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, especially the highest drug rate, the highest suicide
Suicide.
rate. Yeah, all of that. So we really, like you said, they need all the love. And the one thing I pride myself on my organization is that we service dishonorable veterans, right? We don't care if back in 1960 or
Love it.
1970 you was kicked out for whatever reason and got a dishonorable discharge. This is 40, 50 years later, and you're still fighting with the VA because of a mistake you made all those years ago. So we actually provide resources and housing to those displaced veterans who could never get anything from the VA unless they get their upgrade, their discharge summary upgraded, which takes a lot of time and a lot of resources. So
Wow.
we serve those veterans who can't get anything from the VA.
Chrissy, you joined this podcast literally just to find BOB and your podcast, but I see that
Yes,
we're definitely gonna have to get something on the calendar because we're definitely gonna have to talk and connect because I want to tap in
absolutely.
with that. I want to tap in with that.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you, Kalia.
listen,
Yeah,
no,
everything, all of my businesses spill into each other.
but that's how you know that you're a multimillionaire
Yes.
because you're making sure that everything is connected, and this is how we're going to scale up. So I love
Hmm.
that.
Thank
Now,
you.
we were talking about before we started recording, and we're going to go into the podcast now because we have the app, we have your nonprofit, and then now we're going to talk about your podcast. So we were recording and I was explaining to you that I grew up in the church. I am now, my mother is a reverend, but I always was teased as a PK kid because I
Yeah.
was in church on Sunday, I was in church on Wednesday for Bible study, and Friday
Yep.
night for teen night, Saturday for choir rehearsal. So I was in church.
Sound
Okay,
like
I
my
grew up
husband.
in church.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I was in
Yeah.
church. But I have to be honest, growing up in church, I did not have my own personal relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
So literally,
Yep.
I know God. I had Bibles. I had the Bible app. I would listen to sermons, but there was something that was missing between me and God. I love God. I knew God. I knew to pray, but that own personal relationship with God, I did not have, and now I'm having now at 41, 42. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm loving it, by the way. Just
Yes,
have to say I
yes.
love
It
every
looks good
moment of
on you,
it.
honey. It looks good
Thank
on
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Listen, I could talk about God all day, every day. We were talking about that before because when you've gone through some things, now I understand
Ooh,
when the old folks used to say, you live long enough, you know why I call his name.
yes.
Because I've been calling Jesus. So kind of tell us your walk. I think I'm 43. I'll be 43 this year. So when did
Mhm.
your walk really start? When did your spiritual walk start?
So my dad, I told y'all I was raised by my dad. He always called God. He always had, my dad is actually an author too, and so is my son. And my dad in his book, it was always because his mother died when he was 11. So from that point, it was like God was his only source, right?
Wow.
And so when I was born, God is still his source. And so it was natural. We didn't go to church, but we knew God. My dad always taught me God is in control. God is the highest power. This is who we pray to, right? And so growing up, I always had that. And then when we moved to Georgia, my dad's friend, who is my godfather, who I was telling y'all about, the veteran, he was a pastor at a Baptist church. So now, we're going to the Baptist
Okay.
church. And then I started to evolve, and I became a 7-day Adventist. And then I evolved again, and it was just Christianity, right? But now with this discernment I have, and walking in my walk, I know that religion is made by man. Being able to do research
Hmm.
and read books and hearing about other people's research, we know that God doesn't have a religion. Okay,
Hmm.
so my religion is what the world knows as Jesus, which we know that's not his real name either. That was created after, in about 1619, when they created the letter J. But it's really just Yahweh, because they didn't
Hmm.
have any J's. But that's a different topic. But I just started researching about the truth and what is it that our, colonizers was really trying to hide. Because again, according to the Bible, God doesn't have blue eyes and white skin. God, the Bible says that his skin is like burnt bronze. And we look
Hmm.
at a piece of bronze, it's gold, and now we burning it, it's like black
But
charcoal. So
hmm.
it's just things like that, just knowing what is it that is being hidden from us, and doing my own research, not just following a pastor or following, somebody who claims to be a child of God. I have to have my own relationship, and God has to give me my own understanding of what his word is saying. And based upon the Holy Spirit,
Right.
And so now that's it. I study to show thyself approved. I read, I pray, I meditate, because I need God to show me. I learned early on what we're being taught in these churches is not what God is saying. I went to a church one time, and I was with my son, and a man came in with a full beard with a dress on, and all my son was doing was staring, and I'm like, please don't stare at people, like that's rude.
Hmm.
But we're in church, and he's not expecting to see things like that. So
Hmm.
it's moments like that where I'm like, something's not right. At church, my son is being exposed. Something's not right about this. And it just didn't sit right in my spirit. And it didn't sit right in his spirit, because he couldn't stop talking about it and
Hmm.
staring at it,
Hmm.
because it's not something that he's seen before. And he knows it's, that's not
Hmm.
normal. Men with beards wearing dresses. So it was, just wanting my children to have and know the truth about God's word, and then sharing it with the world. We have to be fishers of men, right? We have to be able to say, I might be crucified, because God said you got to take up the cross. You may be crucified, but it doesn't matter. You have to still continue to speak the truth about what God says in his word. And yeah, I came into it pretty much in the past 5 years. I've been
A lot.
coming, into the truth about God's word and about what the Bible really is saying.
So I think it sounds similar to you. So I still listen to my pastors and things. But however, the pastors that I listen to they're really, really into like read the word for yourself. Like, don't just take my word for it. I need you to read it for yourself because that was something that I growing up in the church, you definitely was just a follower of what everyone was saying and everyone else's beliefs. And I grew up in, like I said, my mom is very much into the word. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of, um, I would gauge what I should do based on what she was doing
Yeah.
and not having and this where it's important to have your own personal relationship with God because I think the biggest part that we miss, like as you stated, and that was huge for me, removing the religion aspect and getting closer to the spiritual aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Because religion, with religion, is don't do this, don't do that, that is like the main focus, but the main spiritual part is God is like, know me. Get to know me
Yes.
first,
Yes.
and then everything else I'll have because there are challenges that I'm working on, and I'm so busy trying to do it on my own. And God is like, if you just come to me, I'm gonna help you rid that, but you just trying to keep doing it on your own because it says
Yep.
here, but you're missing the part of knowing me, loving me, getting to know me.
Yep.
Um, and that was something that I learned early on this journey that God is our father, and
Yes.
it's not when we say that was a big piece for me when it came to the Bible, really fully understanding that the Bible is a living mechanism,
Spirit. Yes.
like
It's the living
living
spirit.
it's
Yes.
like a living spirit. It's not just a book with words.
Right.
And I like understanding and fully grasping the concept that God is your father. What do you do with your father? How do you respond to your father?
Yep.
How do you talk to your father? How do you ask your father for things and not separating? And I also have to realize that God can hear my heart anyway. So why am
Yeah.
I trying to
Right.
like, Lord, like coming, like talking to you, pretending like I don't feel that way. Like God is like,
Right. Or
you know I can
timid or
see.
whatever. No. Pour your heart out to the Father, right? Yes,
Be
absolutely.
true. And I wanted to have this conversation because I love that you are younger, I should say. But
We're
I
the
love that,
same age. I'm 41.
well, still youngish. Youngish. I
Yes,
feel like
yes.
I'm like older. But
We
you
got old souls. That's what it
right, right.
is.
But we are spreading this, like spreading this message because a lot of people younger are not really, as you stated before, a lot of people are going more in the direction of the world, you
Yep.
know.
The path to
And
destruction. Yeah,
so definitely
absolutely.
talk about the freedom that you feel because I know you feel free.
I
I know you
do,
feel free.
honey. I do. It's this it's like an indescribable feeling because for one, when you are walking closer to God, the enemy is attacking much more. He's not really attacking those who are living in sin, they out here doing all this crazy stuff. Because he got them, right?
Mhm.
He's attacking the ones who's walking and doing the right thing and wanting to get closer to God. That's when them attacks. Girl, let me that's when the attacks come. My husband said he's a battleship. He's like, at this point, I'm just just come on, hit me. Because they come
I
and they
love it.
come heavy. And when I tell you, he uses your children, he uses your friends, your family, your
Your
businesses,
spouse.
your husband, you hear me? And you just gotta that's why God says you gotta keep on the full armor of the Lord, which is knowing your word and the truth about what God promises us. And that's so important because when those attacks start to come, it's easily to succumb to them. It's easily to give up. It's easily to commit suicide, fall into depression, right? That's what the enemy wants. Now he got you. But it's much harder and it takes a lot more effort to stand firm and be courageous, like the Bible says, and be bold and, flee temptation. I know you
That's,
had that issue, right? We was talking about that
listen,
on the morning meetup. It becomes
listen.
harder because you're walking closer and closer to God. And so it's just an amazing feeling to be able to say, I'm doing everything I can. I'm going hard every day. You know, I'm human, so I'm going to slip and fall, but I get right back up. I don't swallow and, you know, just be miserable and woe is me, a pity party. I'm going to feel those feelings, acknowledge those feelings, cry, whatever, because my dad calls me a bucket of water because I am a crybaby.
Me
I don't
too.
care.
Listen, at the drop of a dime, these tears would come.
My husband be like, you crying again? But listen, I'm gonna be okay though. But I get back up, you know, and that's how I was able to. I do anything that I like, I want to do, I do it. I have this like fearlessness about me because I know that God got me. And if it don't work, like my very first entrepreneur venture was a restaurant, and I used to vend at Nehemiah's events. That's like, we started out here in Philly together, and I had a Jamaican food truck because my grandfather is
Wow.
Jamaican, and I got the oxtails, I got the curry goat, I got everything going. You
Wow.
know, I wanted to do it, so I did it. Failed miserably, had to file bankruptcy afterwards. But guess what? I learned I could run a whole food truck right now. I could start a food truck teaching company if I wanted to, because I had to go through that and learn, you know, all about the food truck industry, the business aspect. So anything I want to do, I do it. I'm not afraid to fail. I've failed so many times, and to me, it's like fuel. Okay, like, oh wow, all right, that was a good lesson. Let's take that on my life journey and keep it moving. And that's just the attitude I have. And sometimes it annoys my husband because he says I'm too corporate sometimes. Like, I'm not like, you know, Sparkle Bailey, like I'm not feminine enough, whereas I'm comforting him when he's going through stuff. And I gotta work on that, but I'm just so gun-ho, like, okay, it happened. What's next? Like, we gotta keep it pushing. But sometimes he needs me to be like, I'm sorry, baby, you know, let's talk about this. You
Yeah.
know, how is this making you feel? But I be on go so much because I know that where I come from, and I'm not going back, right? And I know I haven't reached the pinnacles that God has for me yet. So the
Amen.
only thing I can do is keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. But I know sometimes I have to take a moment, comfort my husband, you know, comfort my children, and then get back to, you know, keep going.
Listen, as I said earlier, we're gonna tap in. I'm gonna need your number because we are
Yes,
going to tap in. You hit the food
we
truck
gotta stay in
thing.
touch.
Yes, and I want to help someone with their food trucks. I definitely want to tap in with you with that. And I love also. I know I keep saying I love what you're saying, but I do, because I can. Is what I'm saying. I love what you're saying because I can relate with a lot of the things that you're speaking on, whether it's a vision that you're actually implementing or why you're doing it. So I can relate to that, and definitely that freeing of now, of like, if God put it in your spirit, just try, just do it,
Yes, just do
and
it.
and like you said, you never know why. So you don't know why, you did that food truck, it didn't work for you, but I know I'm trying to get my cousin to open his, and he probably won't see this episode, but this is a sign that you need to open
Do
your food
it.
truck. Yes. um, so I'm trying, I'm working with him to get a food truck, and you having that information, and you just never know why you've done something, but
Yeah.
you doing it has helped so many, will help so many,
Yeah.
and even with you being disobedient with your nonprofit, and then now your obedience is opening doors, and so you see,
Yep.
when we are doing what God has in store for us, in as I said, removing the roadblocks.
Yes. You know, God gave us all skills and talents and gifts. How dare us not use them for his
Right.
glory? How dare us be fearful of why would he give them to us? You know, if he didn't want us to bless other people with our gifts and talents and food, girl, you know, we gotta eat. Everybody love food. That's like
Listen.
the universal language, right?
Listen.
So he got to do it. That's his gift. God gave him that gift. You gotta use it. It's like disrespectful to God to sit on
I
it.
told him that.
You
I
know,
told him that
that's in the
too.
Bible.
I told him that too. I told him that too. I definitely, I'll tell you more once we finish recording
Yes,
on
yes,
how I
yes.
know already that this food truck is a hit, but I said the same thing, like you being disobedient. And that's something that I had to learn as well, with the
Hmm.
podcast and recording, you get the imposter syndrome, or
Yeah.
you get stuck, having worked a W-2 job my entire life, going into
Hmm.
entrepreneur, you kind of get stuck in that mindset of I need somebody to pay me. I need somebody to take care of my health
Yep.
care. I need something, you're
Yep.
waiting for someone else to do it, and it's for you to do it, So having that faith and being able to lean on the word and lean on his promises. And I'm grateful. That's why I say I know God makes no mistakes. I know
Yeah.
God makes no mistakes, because the journey that I'm on now, I would not be able to endure a lot of the things that we had to endure over the last year, even the end of the year, me being a full-time entrepreneur now, I would not have been able to do it not getting that personal relationship with God. I would
Yes,
not
sir.
have been able to, I would
Mhm.
have been under the bed with a bottle. Like I know,
Yeah.
so the fact that I'm able to wake up every day with joy and peace,
Yeah.
and that's nobody but God. It is
Yes, honey.
nobody but
But
God.
God.
Listen.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I want to say one more thing, Kalia. Um, Statisticians are estimating that by the year 2053, the
Yes.
Black wealth will be at zero,
Yep.
right? We have to make radical changes as a Black community. Like we have to do things so different in this time in order to slow down that time clock of our Black wealth being gone. And so I Find Bob's is one of the mechanisms to do just that, right? We need to start with our youth. Like you say, your 10-year-old, we have to teach them now early, budgeting, money management, investing. They have stocks that you can purchase for your kids. I think a stockpile, you can purchase stocks for your kids. I know mine's, they have Nintendo stocks, what
Nike. My
Fortnite,
son
like
has
whatever,
Nike.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The stuff that they're using and playing on every day. We need to be investing in that stuff. And people think you need a lot of money. You don't. You don't. You just have to be able to budget and allocate some funds to go to there instead of that weave or, new pair of shoes, whatever. You have to be able to stop thinking about the
The
now.
mindset.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
think about the long run and your grandchildren. And so I just want, everyone to, if not Find Bob's, support a Black business in your community, start being intentional. And I know you said it's a mindset, everybody's not going to do it. I had a full on argument, almost like 100% debate on why a Black person needs to support Black businesses. Their response was, I don't care. I'm going to the closest thing that's convenient for me. So that's where I said convenience.
Mm-hmm.
People
Mm-hmm.
want convenience. They need to be able to go to their phone because the convenience is the Poppy corner store or the
Yep.
Asian Chinese place, right? That's the
Yeah.
convenience. But so we need to be able to bring that to the Black community, that convenience factor. And so it starts with us. It starts with us.
So I typically ask for a closing, and you close. That was full on, and I mean, I don't even know how I would have been able to get you to do that, but you did that, and that is the closing, and that is the point of the why. Why we need a Find Bob's, why we need to register our businesses on Find Black owned businesses, why we need to be utilizing that site and that app. Now, if anyone has listened and they want to get in contact with you and they want to be able to support you, support your endeavors, tap in more spiritual level, share how they can get in contact with you and how they can work with you. And
Yes.
show your
So,
shirt. Don't forget to
oh
show your
yes, yes,
shirt.
yes.
Yes.
Black on, baby.
That's
Thank you,
right.
thank you. But our Instagram, Fine Bobs on Facebook. For our veteran communities is at Love Pray Peace Project, at Love Pray Peace Project. Or LP3 for sure. If you search LP3 on Instagram, it'll come up as well. For the podcast is Anointed Purity Podcast. We on YouTube, we on Instagram as Anointed Purity. And yeah, findbobs.com is our website, and then lp3.org is our website for the veteran community. And we help with claims, disability claims. We help with the upgrade discharge requests. They are very arduous and tedious and takes a lot of time. Let me just throw that disclaimer, but we can assist with that. So you could go to the website lp3.org and book a consultation. If it's any veterans on here listening, thank you so much for your sacrifice in the military. I always joke and say we probably be speaking German if it wasn't for y'all. They would have took us over, but y'all killed it. Y'all did that thing in that war. But I'm just so grateful, and I like veterans is right under Jesus for me, right under Yahweh, because God, Jesus, he gave his life. He laid down his life so that we can live, and veterans do the very same thing. They sign up, and some of them give their lives, some of them give their lives physically, but some of them give their lives in other ways, because when they come back, their lives are transformed forever. Right. So they right there. They right there for me under Jesus.
I love it.
And so yes, but thank you so much, Kalia. This has been amazing. Like I said, we could talk all day because I'm just so passionate about what this walk that God has me on. But I really appreciate you for allowing me to get the word out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. And I am so glad to have you in my community and in my circle and the support, because brains like this, like I said, you can only go but so far alone, but you definitely go far faster and way longer with the support of others. So
yes,
as I stated to you, the Bell brand is definitely support you and whatever you have going on. So just let us know. Whatever we can do, we will definitely support you. Sharing the message, pulling up in Philly and coming out to volunteer. We would love to do that. I'm going to connect you with my brother-in-law to make sure that you guys talk and things, because he's always doing something in the nonprofit sector, especially with veterans. So I definitely want to connect you guys. So again, Krissi, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Our annual fundraiser is September 20th. So I'll be putting that out of this year. So I would love to have you and your family in attendance. Our goal is to provide more mental health services for veterans who don't qualify from anything for the VA. So those dishonorable veterans, we're raising funds so that we can provide more mental health services from a mental health professional. So that's the theme this year, y'all. So September 20th.
That is amazing. Again, that's the intentional piece of it, because you're like not only in putting you in a place, but I need to make sure that you're at peace, because honestly, you will be surprised. I see the effects that the war has on my dad, and thankfully he wasn't on drugs or anything like that. And compared to a lot of other brothers that did Vietnam, he is considered one of the okay, but you can still see the leftover residue that from Vietnam, and the stories that, and even like he'll just tell a story about him being next to somebody and their head blew off, and it's just like just the way that he's telling the story is just like a story, and I'm like, you were right there. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So the mental is something that we really, 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 really need to tap into our vets with. And as you stated, that we forget the family members that they leave behind. We forget the parents. We don't think about them as well. So to your point, they play a huge sacrifice
Yeah.
so that we can have our freedom. So
Right.
I listen, I'm with you on that. I'm
Yes, yes,
100%
I
with you
see
on
it. I see it. The compassion is coming through
Yes,
clear.
yes, yes.
Yes.
I'm a daddy's girl, and
Me too.
I'm a daddy's girl, and he is definitely a hero to me, you know, and
Yes.
knowing his story and stuff. And I'm like, whatever we can do to help them, and knowing and seeing it, it does break my heart. Really, it does.
Yeah.
How we
Yeah.
treat our vets.
I
Um,
appreciate you so much.
yes, yes, absolutely. Anything that I can do, anything. So I do want
I'm
to
gonna keep you on that
no,
now.
seriously, listen, I'm a full-time entrepreneur, so I have time to
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. So I have time to spread myself out and do more things that I
Hmm.
want to do and tap in
Yeah.
more to what I want to do. So
Okay.
like I said, whatever I can do to support, let me know.
Wonderful.
If I have the time, I'm there with you. So I
Wonderful.
appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Talia. I'm so
Absolutely.
grateful for you and
Absolutely.
Perfect Imperfections podcast to your
Thank you.
community. And
Thank you.
I would come back anytime. Just say
Oh,
the word.
listen, you have to come back because we have to touch on marriage. Marriage and parenting are my two favorite topics because those are the topics that I've done the most work in. So I love to talk about marriage and
Hmm.
parenting. So you definitely have to come back and have a conversation on parenting and marriage with me. So I'm
Definitely.
letting you know that now in advance. But
Okay.
so
It's
I
done.
just want thank you. So I want to thank all of my listeners and watchers for tuning in today. I know that you guys enjoyed this episode because this was a goodie. You know, definitely make sure that you tap in with Krissi and all that she's doing in order for us to make change in our community. It starts right here. You have someone that is doing things and wanting to see us be better and wanting to grow our community. And you have the opportunity to help out, tap in, and support. And there's so many different ways to support. So again, thank you, Krissi, for being here and sharing your
Thank
information
you.
to my perfectly imperfect people out there. And
Yes.
make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share this episode. We want to get these messages out to the masses. We're doing this, we're doing the work, and we're sharing what we are doing, not just for us, not just for our families, but we're also doing it and sharing these messages for you. Because we're saying if we can do it, then you can do it. And we know that when we work on ourselves, we work on our homes. When we work on our homes, we work on our community. And when we work and build and make our community better, then we are healing the world. But it just starts with just you, one person at a time. So, again, thank you for being here. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next episode, peace.